You done?
Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of the psychological aspects of eating disorders, and it is triggering. Again, it's going to be talking about certain eating disorders and my thoughts on them and all that stuff. So if it gets uncomfortable, click out of the video. The link for where I found everything is going to be in the description below. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy. Now I'm going to get into certain eating disorders. They're the 3 most common ones. I have them, and I'm going to give my piece on what I think after I read what the website said. And yeah, the first one is anorexia. Individuals with anorexia are likely to perceive themselves as overweight even if they are not. This distorted perception, combined with emotional factors including low self-esteem and an inability to manage difficult feelings, can typically lead to the sufferer limiting their intake of food and often exercising in excessive ways. For me, with my anorexia, I would eat the same thing every day. I would eat sometimes less than 500 calories, sometimes more, and it made me, even no matter how much weight I lost, I still would think that's not enough. And a lot of people think that to be anorexic, you have to be nothing but skin and bones. When in reality, it's if you eat under 700 calories a day and you're exercising excessively. Not saying that if you don't eat a lot during the day and you exercise a lot that you have it, but this is just a look into what it actually is and how I think of it. But it's very hard to have a good relationship with food when the only thing you see in the mirror is someone who's fat, and you get very self-conscious and you just don't want to eat because you think that it's going to help, when in the long run it won't help. The next one is binge eating. Sufferers feel a compulsion to eat large amounts of food as though they cannot stop. According to Mind, the mental healthy charity, many who suffer with binge eating disorder will come to rely on food for emotional support. Sufferers may also turn to food to mask difficult emotions. This one I kind of had, now that I think about it, and it would depend, because there would be times where I wouldn't eat almost anything all day. I wouldn't get hungry. I don't have any hunger cues or anything. And then the moment that I feel hungry, I think back on the day and I'm like, I have not eaten anything today. I gotta eat my calories for the day now. With binge eaters, they don't normally realize that they're still eating and their hunger cues are completely gone. So they just eat whenever they want, or their hunger cues are always there because their body's so used to it. Even once they hit that full feeling, they stop, but not until they feel like they are so full that it makes them sick. And that is what I've been told from some of my friends who have this eating disorder, which then leads me to the next eating disorder, which is bulimia. Bulimia causes its sufferers to fear for weight gain. This can lead them to use unhealthy measures to get rid of the food they have consumed. This may include excessive exercising, taking laxatives, or vomiting. This is very true. I am someone who would throw up their food if I felt I was eating bad foods, or if I ate too much good, then my stomach would start hurting and it would be so painful that I had to go give myself some relief, and it would go. And there would even be times where I wouldn't even realize I'm doing it until after the fact that it's happened. It is common for sufferers to have an abnormal fear for food, calories, and gaining weight. It is the fear that often causes people with bulimia to restrict their food intake. Again, this is very true. In my head, I have a very specific number of calories that I just can't seem to get past, and that's 1,000, which is very, very low. You should be eating at the very least, 1,300 a day. But you want to eat I will give it a generous number and say at least 1,600, depending on how much you exercise and everything else about you. It depends on how much you should eat. But for me, because of my eating disorders, the number 1,000 has stuck with me. And as soon as I start getting close to that number, I start taking out foods to make sure that I stay under that number or I hit that number. I hate going over it because it just gives me so much anxiety that I freak out a little bit, which leads us into the next bullet point of it. Often they will purge shortly afterwards to remove the food. Purging can become dangerously addictive. In some cases, purging will become a habit. Sufferers will purge regularly even if they haven't binged. There would be times where I will eat dinner with family or friends and immediately regret it and just chug down a bunch of water, wait like 10 minutes, and then excuse myself, and off I go. And it's a really bad habit, and again, like I had said earlier, I don't even realize I'm doing it sometimes until it's happening or until it's done, and then I instantly regret what I've done. And it's a very hard thing to combat because if you don't know what you're doing and it becomes habit, then it can be very difficult to break. The more strict the diet, the higher the chance of binging. The body's response to the starvation and lack of nutrition through powerful cravings. As hunger and feelings of deprivation increase, so does the urge to eat. Often this urge sees people with bulimia reach for forbidden or bad foods. This is what can trigger the all or nothing mindset. For me, whenever I don't eat during the day and at dinner I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna treat myself to something that I like. I'll eat whatever, and then a few minutes later my stomach, because it is so small and it's not used to eating a lot of food anymore, I'll start immediately hurting and I'll have to excuse myself because it's just gotten to that point. It's very difficult to get out of that mindset when you've been doing it for so long. But the overall look at it is people with eating disorders, because they've been doing it so long or because they have that incentive to lose weight or to eat or binge or whatever the case may be, gets stuck in their head, and that's their incentive to keep doing what they're doing. And once it becomes a habit, it's very difficult to break. Even I don't even know how it even started off like that other than me wanting to lose weight. I don't know how it developed to this point to where my stomach rejects fried food, fatty food, hot food, and by hot I mean spicy, but it's just gotten to that point where my stomach can't take a lot of food. The psychological aspects of eating disorders are so complex, and it's a web, and if one thing gets messed up, then the circle just continues and it just keeps going around. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, is because no one understands it, because it's different for everyone, or there's some similarities, or people don't really know how it got this far. For anyone watching, whether you have eating disorders or your friend has them or someone you know has them, just keep in mind, like, it is very complex. Don't beat yourself up if you don't understand, because not even I understand, and I've been struggling with this for 4 years. So if that doesn't say anything, then I don't know what will. But other than that, that's all I have for today. I know today was kind of a long video, but there was a lot of information that I wanted to share. And again, I did a lot of research. I found multiple websites with multiple different things, and I figured all of these are pretty important. I should probably share them. So yeah, I really hope y'all enjoyed. Again, like, subscribe, comment, whatever it may be. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and I'll see y'all Wednesday. Bye, guys. Can I talk today, or is that just not happening?